Now without the microphone, it will be picking up things with the ambient mic.
The Dred Scott decision. Who was involved? Dred Scott. He was a slave. John Emerson was the doctor who bought Scott. Roger B. Taney was the chief justice in the case, and then Benjamin Curtis was the justice in the case for Scott. Where? Dred Scott was bought in St. Louis, Missouri. He traveled to Fort Armstrong, Illinois. 2 years later, Emerson took Scott with him when he was transferred to Fort Snelling in the Wisconsin Territory. Eventually, Scott was brought back to St. Louis. When? Dred Scott was bought in 1833. In 1846, Emerson returned with Scott. In 1857, the Supreme Court ruled on the case. What? Dred Scott, with the help of some white friends, sued in order to prove that he and his family were free. He claimed that since he and his family lived in Illinois and Wisconsin, both free territories, that they were free. Chief Justice Roger Taney hated racial equality. He made a huge impact on the court's decision. The court ruled that Dred Scott could not claim any violations because he was not considered a citizen. Also, Missouri, his home state, determined his status and decided that his travels did not make him free. Lastly, Congress's power did not include the right to prohibit slavery. Republicans were upset by the court's pro-slavery decision. The New York Tribune stated that the decision cleared the way for all our territories to be ripened into slave states. Justice Benjamin Curtis was supportive to Scott. He said Scott was a citizen. In Wisconsin, the involuntary servitude of a slave coming into the territory with his master should cease to exist. Since Congress had the power to make all rules and regulations, they had the power to bar slavery. Result: the court ruled against him, but in the end, Dred Scott gained his freedom. He and his family were bought in May of 1857. The man who purchased them granted them their freedom. Sadly, he died a year later on September 17, 1958. The Dred Scott decision marked where the government was standing on the issue of slavery. Southerners were excited because the government had ruled in favor of it.